Imagine waking up one morning and realizing something strange. Almost no one around you is really thinking anymore. People just sort of go along with whatever they're told. No questions asked. The world's gotten so loud, so fast, and so crammed with non-stop information that our minds, once sharp, curious, questioning, have kind of gone numb. Think about that for a second. What happens to a society where people stop asking questions? Where we don't pause to reason, challenge ideas, or reflect before reacting? Instead, we scroll, we swipe, we skim, we form snap opinions and echo whatever everyone else is saying, whether it makes sense or not. In this video, we're diving into something kind of unsettling: the slow disappearance of critical thinking and the scary rise of what some thinkers now call collective stupidity. It's this weird thing where a lot of people start thinking less deeply, just going along with whatever's popular, whatever's loudest or easiest to believe. Not because they're dumb, but because they've been trained not to question. And by the end of this journey, I promise we'll land on something powerful, maybe even life-changing. A truth that could help you take your mind back from a system that kind of wants you to stay comfortably unaware. But before we get into it, quick ask. If this kind of stuff matters to you, thinking deeply, questioning the world, consider subscribing, liking, and dropping your thoughts in the comments. This isn't just a video, it's a conversation. Share it with someone who still believes that truth is worth digging for. All right, let's start with something that might sting a little. Thinking is hard. And these days, most of the time it's not even encouraged. Our world rewards speed, emotion, and fitting in. Slowing down to really think? That gets you ignored or even attacked. But that's not just a side effect of modern life. It's by design. Algorithms feed us stuff we already agree with. Schools often teach kids what to think, not how. Our culture, without saying it outright, basically trains us to stop thinking for ourselves. Decades ago, Noam Chomsky warned about this. He talked about how powerful systems rely on what he called the manufacturing of consent. That's just a fancy way of saying, if you can train people to accept things without questioning them, they're way easier to control. And that's what's happening. Critical thinking, once considered a basic human strength, is now seen as inconvenient. It slows down the outrage, interrupts the echo chambers, and worst of all, it challenges beliefs. It asks, wait, is this actually true? And in a world where being right is everything, even asking that question can get you labeled as a threat. So how did we end up like this? It didn't happen overnight. One major cause? Information overload. We're constantly bombarded. Texts, alerts, news, memes, hot takes, ads. It never stops. And our brains weren't built for this much input. So instead of thinking through everything, we take shortcuts. We rely on habits, biases, and what everyone else seems to be doing. You've probably experienced this. You see a post with thousands of likes and shares and just assume, well, that must be true. That's not your critical mind talking. That's just a brain trying to keep up. And that's how this kind of shallow groupthink mindset spreads. Not because people are dumb, but because they're overloaded and conditioned to follow signals instead of reason. Let's be real for a second. Thinking is hard. Like really thinking, questioning stuff, digging beneath the surface. And in the world we live in today, that kind of thinking isn't just rare, it's often discouraged. See, the world now rewards speed, snap judgments, quick reactions, and just going along with whatever everyone else is saying. Deep reflection, that's not trendy. It's slow, it's boring, and honestly, it makes people uncomfortable. But that didn't just happen by chance. It's by design. Algorithms online only show us what we already agree with. Schools teach us how to memorize answers, not how to explore ideas. The whole system is shaping us to not think too much, to just accept things, to move along. Noam Chomsky, a guy who spent his life studying how power works, warned us about this a long time ago. He called it manufacturing consent. It's when people are trained to accept what they're told without questioning it. Not because they're stupid, but because they've been conditioned that way. And when that happens, It's much easier for those in power to control what we believe. And here's the uncomfortable part. Critical thinking has become inconvenient. It slows down debates. It disrupts groupthink. It makes people ask, wait, is this actually true? And in a world where everyone just wants to be right all the time, that's a problem. So how did we get here? A big reason is information overload. We're constantly bombarded with stuff. News, opinions, ads, notifications, DMs, updates, every hour of every day. Our brains weren't made for this kind of input. They can't keep up, so they start looking for shortcuts. Instead of really analyzing things, we just go, what are other people saying about this? And follow their lead. That's a thing called social proof. We assume something must be right if a lot of people agree with it. Think about it. How many times have you seen a post with tons of likes and just thought, yeah, must be true? That's not deep thinking. That's your brain taking the easy way out. And honestly, that's what makes this problem so dangerous. Not because people are dumb, but because they're being trained to follow signals instead of reason. Another part of the problem? We've stopped reading deeply. Neuroscientists have found that our brains are being rewired by digital media. We skim more. We click around. We can't sit still long enough to focus on a long read or a complex idea. But here's the thing. Critical thinking takes time. You can't reflect deeply if you're always distracted. Ask yourself, when was the last time you read something without checking your phone? Or just sat with a difficult thought instead of immediately reacting to it? These small things, they matter, and they're vanishing. Even Carl Sagan, one of the smartest minds of the last century, warned us. He said we live in a society that completely depends on science and tech, but hardly anyone actually understands science and tech. He wasn't just talking about facts. He was worried that people were losing the ability to think clearly about the world around them. And yeah, a lot of that isn't just intellectual, it's emotional too. Thinking critically is uncomfortable. It means admitting you might be wrong. It means challenging your own beliefs. It can mess with your sense of identity. And that's scary, especially in a culture that values confidence over curiosity and certainty over honesty. So instead of questioning, we protect our egos. We stay in our bubbles. We avoid conversations that might shake our worldview. We repeat talking points. We post slogans. We cancel. We shut down. But all of that, it's not real dialogue. It's not real thinking. What we're seeing isn't just a lack of curiosity. It's a full-on shift toward mental laziness. And the impact? It's huge. Because when people stop thinking, they stop questioning. And when they stop questioning, they become way easier to manipulate. Which raises the question, who benefits when we stop thinking for ourselves? So who actually benefits when we stop thinking for ourselves? Simple. People who want control without accountability. When the masses stop asking questions, the powerful don't have to answer them. Politicians can lie without being challenged. Corporations can exploit without being called out. Media can twist narratives, and most people won't even notice because they're not thinking critically enough to see through the spin. That's not conspiracy talk. That's just how power works. Throughout history, the easiest way to rule people wasn't brute force. It was distraction. Keep them entertained. Keep them divided. Keep them arguing over the surface-level stuff so they never dig into what's actually going on. And honestly, that strategy works better today than ever before, because now distraction is built into everything. Our phones, our apps, our feeds, they're all designed to hijack attention. Every notification, every scroll, every like is part of a system that keeps us locked in. It doesn't want you to think, it wants you to react. And it wants you to keep reacting endlessly. Meanwhile, the algorithms feeding us content are invisible gatekeepers. They choose what we see, what we miss, what trends, and what gets buried. And the scariest part? Most people don't even realize how much their view of reality is being shaped by code they'll never see. Now zoom out for a second. Think about what that means for society. If people are too distracted, too polarized, or too mentally tired to think clearly, they're way easier to control. You don't need to censor everything. You just flood the zone with noise until no one knows what to believe. And when that happens, the loudest voice wins. Not the most truthful, not the most thoughtful, just the loudest, the flashiest, the one with the most followers or the catchiest soundbite. And everyone else just kind of shrugs and goes along with it, because thinking is work, and they're exhausted. That's how we end up in a world where bad ideas spread faster than good ones. Emotional outrage drowns out thoughtful discussion. Performative activism replaces real change. People share content not because it's true, but because it feels right. And entire populations start acting against their own interests, because they've been trained to follow instead of question. So yeah, someone definitely benefits from that. But here's the thing, we let it happen. It's easy to blame the system or the media or big tech, and sure, they play a role. But we also made choices. We chose comfort over clarity, echo chambers over evidence, likes over logic. And every time we did, we made it a little easier for this mental decay to spread. But that also means we're not powerless. Because once you see it, once you realize how much critical thought has been replaced with mental autopilot, you can choose to break out of it. The next part is about exactly that. How do we fight back? And what does it take to truly start thinking for yourself again? Let's talk solutions. Because yeah, all of this, the distraction, the manipulation, the erosion of critical thought, it's real, but it's not hopeless. In fact, the moment you realize what's happening, you've already taken the first step. The real fight, it's not out there, it's in your head. It starts with this question: are you actually thinking for yourself, or just repeating what sounds good? That's not an attack. It's an invitation to pause, to reflect, to admit maybe you've been on autopilot. Maybe you've clung to opinions because they were popular, safe, or made you feel smart. Maybe you haven't been asking the hard questions. Good. Now you can start. Step 1. Kill your ego gently. Let's be honest. Your ego wants to be right. It wants to feel certain. It wants to win arguments and get likes and look sharp in front of people. But that same ego, it's the enemy of truth. Thinking clearly requires humility. The courage to say, I don't know. I might be wrong. I need to learn more before I speak. Those phrases, they're power moves. Because once your ego stops running the show, your mind finally has room to explore what's actually true, not just what feels true. Step 2. Get uncomfortable. On purpose. If you only consume ideas that confirm your beliefs, you're not thinking, you're reinforcing. So go out of your way to read, watch, and listen to perspectives you disagree with. Not to argue, not to roll your eyes, but to understand. Ask, what's the strongest argument for the opposite side? Why might a smart, good person believe that? What if I'm missing something? This doesn't mean abandoning your values. It means pressure testing them. And if your beliefs can't survive honest questioning, then maybe they weren't that solid to begin with. Step 3. Slow down. Thinking isn't fast. That's what scrolling trains you to forget. If something makes you angry, outraged, or smug, pause. Don't share it right away. Don't comment. Ask, why am I reacting like this? What's the source? Who benefits if I believe this? Then wait. Breathe. Look deeper. You'll be shocked how many things fall apart under even 60 seconds of real thought. Step 4. Read things that hurt your brain. We've gotten lazy. We skim tweets and headlines and memes and think we get it. But deep ideas don't live in the shallow end. Read old books, hard books, essays that take effort, writers who challenge you, philosophy, history, science, not because it's trendy, but because it stretches your mind past the easy stuff. If your brain never feels strained, it's probably not growing. Step 5. Talk to real people, not in comment sections, not in DMs, in person, or on the phone, or over a slow, thoughtful chat. There's something powerful about real dialogue. It forces you to listen, to be honest, to sit with complexity instead of shouting slogans. And when people talk like that, without trying to win, something amazing happens. Both sides grow. Step 6. Accept the cost. Here's the raw truth. Thinking for yourself comes with a price. You'll be misunderstood. You'll be called difficult, or arrogant, or contrarian. People might get annoyed when you don't just nod along, You'll lose the comfort of certainty, the safety of the crowd. But what you gain, it's everything: clarity, integrity, mental freedom, and the quiet power of knowing you're not just echoing noise, you're living with your eyes open. That's what this is really about. Not just being smart, not just owning the libs or crushing the woke, or whatever tribal label your side uses. It's about reclaiming your mind in a world designed to steal it. And yeah, it's hard. But you know what's harder? Being a puppet, living a lie, realizing too late that your thoughts were never really yours. Let's not end there, though. The final part is about what this all means at a bigger level, what kind of world we're building, and whether it's too late to fix it. So what kind of world are we actually building? Right now, it looks like this. Truth is optional. Nuance is dead. People treat ideas like team jerseys, and most conversations feel like shouting into traffic. We've created a culture that rewards speed over substance, certainty over curiosity, performance over honesty. And the result? A society that looks connected on the outside, but is hollow underneath. Distracted, divided, mentally weak. But here's the part no one wants to say out loud. If this keeps going, it breaks everything. Democracy? Useless if the public can't think clearly. Freedom? Pointless if no one understands what they're free to do. Innovation? Slows down when people are too fragile to handle hard problems. Progress? Becomes theater. All talk, no depth. This isn't just some philosophical crisis. It's existential. If we lose the ability to think, really think, we lose the ability to function. So what do? We stop outsourcing our minds. We stop mistaking information for wisdom. We stop pretending that just having opinions makes us intelligent. It doesn't. And we remember something way too easy to forget. Thinking is a skill. It can be trained, strengthened, sharpened, or, if ignored, it atrophies. The world doesn't need more influencers, more pundits, more algorithm chasers. It needs more clear minds, strong minds, independent minds. And those don't come from scrolling. They come from the grind, the unsexy work of reflection, doubt, curiosity, and growth. So no, it's not too late. But if we keep waiting for them to fix it, we've already lost. This is your responsibility, mine, everyone's. Because the battle for your mind, it's not coming. It's already here. And you're either fighting or fading.